Canadians will go to the polls on Monday to determine the next government. It comes during a time of major economic concern. Host of Real Ag Radio's Sean Haney joins us now with the latest. Thanks so much for being with us once again, Sean. Tell us what these polls are saying.
Yeah, it's great to be with you here this morning. So, yeah, Canadians are going to go to the polls on Monday, and what they're saying is it's looking very much like the Liberals would be the favorite. The question is, are they going to be a minority government or are they going to be a majority? Depending on which pollster you follow, you're going to get different answers on that. The Conservatives here have really lost a lead. This is like being up by 3 games in the NBA Finals and the other team comes back and sweeps in 4 games. They had a 20-point lead back in January, and all really driven by what's happened in the U.S. President Trump taking a pretty harsh stance against Canada, all the talk about the 51st state and wanting to basically annex Canada. That drove Canadians from the Conservatives to the Liberals, led by new Prime Minister Mark Carney, who used to be the head of the Bank of Canada and former head of the Bank of England. President Trump has even essentially endorsed Mr. Carney, saying that he'd be easier to work with than the Conservative leader. So that's where things kind of sit, and we'll see what the results are on Monday.
Yeah, all eyes on that for sure. So what can we expect from the next Canadian government in terms of the relationship with the U.S.?
Yeah, well, I think all Canadians are looking for a smoother relationship. Trying to put some of this rough waters being driven by President Trump, trying to put that maybe into a little bit of a calmer sort of a bay situation. That's going to really be, I think, a little bit up to President Trump in terms of what is he looking out of this relationship with Canada and even Mexico. Are we going to all of a sudden be talking about a renegotiation of the USMCA agreement? I think a lot of Canadians would be, even the Canadian government, Mr. Carney's been talking about that. Talking is good, and so we can expect probably maybe an earlier negotiation of that than previously planned in July of 2026. The U.S. market is very important to Canada, largest trading partner for Canada, and having a smooth relationship is absolutely key.
Let's talk farming. What are Canadian farmers hoping to see in Canada's next leader?
Yeah, well, we're going to definitely see rural Canada vote Conservative. That's kind of not really in question. Whether we see a Liberal government or a Conservative one, Canadian farmers want to see that carbon tax extinguished, which both parties have campaigned on. They want to see more of a focus on trade. Under the prior 10 years of the Trudeau government, there really wasn't enough focus on trade. It was kind of like in the background, and a lot more focus on climate issues. I think Canadian farmers would like to see, not the environment's important, but we don't need to lead with the environment all the time, and we can park some of these things and really focus on competitiveness. That's really, I think, what Canadian farmers want out of the next government.
Host of Real Ag Radio, you certainly help explain it all, make it a little bit easier to understand. Sean Haney, thanks so much for joining us. You can catch Sean on his show Real Ag Radio, which airs at 4:30 p.m. Eastern weekdays on Rural Radio Channel 147 on Sirius XM. And we'll talk to him again here on Market Day Report next week.